Aloha again, everyone, and welcome to another informative video from Decorum Arms LLC. I do not have any new products to show you this week, and there's going to be some delay in a video I promised to do about camouflage, because, well, I need to actually be able to edit some pictures into the video so that you can see what I'm talking about. I have thrown a bit of a gauntlet down on the internet, and I'm prepared to back those words up with facts and evidence. So, until then, what I want to talk to you about today are optics. Now, this is not a should I mount an optic? Of course you should kind of video. The point of today's video is to discuss how to choose an optic and how to train with it. And yes, you also need to train with your irons. That's a fact. So, I've got a couple different examples. I'm going to start with my sort of daily driver here. This has a Vortex Strike Eagle 1:6. This is what we call low power variable optic, or LPVO. Now, for the purposes of having an LPVO that works not only as a magnified sighting system, but also kind of doubles as like a red dot sight for taking closer range shots and being able to easily transition to targets at different ranges. I really like this optic. I really like the reticle on this optic. And the reason why I like the reticle on this optic so much is because of the way that it draws your eye into the center dot. So let's see if I can get in here a little bit so you can see that right there. Okay, has those big, I think they're called plexus or stadia lines that draw you right into the center dot of the optic. It has kind of a half horseshoe thing which illuminates, and it works really well as an LPVO and works well enough at range as well. There's a rangefinder on this BDC. One of the downsides to this, though, is the center dot is like 2 or 3 MOA. I think it's 2. And it kind of obstructs some of your view of the target at 100 yards. And even more so further downrange. So if you are kind of past what I would say 50 yards, or what looks to be about 50 yards, then you're going to end up transitioning to your maximum magnification, because this is second focal plane, so your BDC is only good at 1x and 6x. And that's what you do with an LPVO. You just go, 1 right over all the way to that 6x magnification. Glass on this for the price is superb. Now, Henry Chan over at 9-hole reviews, refers to this type of reticle as an assaulter reticle. So if that's what you're looking to do, more of an assaulter role that you're trying to fill, this is a fantastic reticle for it. Now, I have this other LPVO I'm going to show you. Well, you've seen it. on my 308. And some of you are probably saying, well, Corumbot, why do you have your backup irons directly under your LPVO? Because eventually this is coming off, I'm getting a different mount, and I will have the thumb levers to be able to pop this off if I need to and transition onto the iron sights. Now, this reticle is just atrocious. It's got like a 2 mil center dot at 100 yards. It's gigantic. I couldn't even see most of the target through it. But it's important to note that once I understood how this reticle functioned, what all the different pieces of the reticle itself did, and here I'm gonna try to show you this one as well. Okay, once I understood what this did, then I was able to use it and train with it effectively. And, you know, you should absolutely, when you train with an optic, you should be looking at, you know, trying to use your BDC. It's hard if you don't have any ranges nearby, or there aren't any public ranges that extend out really past like 100 yards. But one of the things you should do, trying to use your BDC, trying to use your wind holds, learning what those are, learning what speeds, if any, your wind holds are for, or, you know, if you're holding off on a moving target, understanding what all the different various functions of your reticle are. And learning how to use that information while you're actually looking through the scope is important, even as much as I hate the reticle on this arrowhead. The glass is actually really good on this. This is not a good combative reticle, like at all. But it's still important to learn how to use it, and it actually does give you a lot of the information that you would need from something like a BDC reticle, and this is certainly less of an assaulter style reticle. This is a little bit more geared toward the precision side of things, which is why it's on my 308 and not a 5.56 gun. So again, it's important, and that you're also doping your gun, guys. Even if you have to go out and buy like a cheap optical chronograph, and you can get them for around $100. Seriously chrono your rifles so that you can actually accurately dope your BDC. Because if you don't know how fast your gun is actually shooting the ammunition that you're using, then your BDC is only going to be a guess. And not a very good one, mind you. So do make sure, or if you know somebody who has a chronograph, maybe schedule a group range day and have everybody go out and dope your rifles. Also, do like a 5-shot group from the rifle being cold, and then mark it off, and then going on to the same target, shoot another 5-shot group after the rifle's warmed up, so that you also know how much shift there is in your point of impact when the rifle's hot, because that's going to matter as well. Now there's one more kind of optic, because I've shown you a pair of LPVOs. And I want to touch on red dots real quick. Now, this is my winter rifle. You've seen that. And this has, let me see if it's on. It is, but it's pretty dim. So we're gonna make it really bright here so you can see this. All right, perfect. So this is a Primary Arms MD25 with the ACSS CQB reticle. This, I actually like this for new shooters because it's really simple to use. It doesn't require a lot of training. It actually does have sort of a built-in BDC, which you'll see here in a second, which does work better with a magnifier than it does with, no magnification. But I'm just going to show you it here. There we go. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer to it. Nope. Okay. So here we have a horseshoe with a chevron and then 3 kind of holdover dots. So the way this works, and you can see the 3 holdover dots better with a magnifier, which I think I showed you how that works. So they recommend to zero this for 5.56 at 100 yards, which if you don't have a magnifier, I would just zero it at 50, because a 50 to 100 zero is a pretty flat trajectory. So you have the chevron, which is like 0 to 200 yards. The horseshoe also works for shotguns. So if you have a shotgun you want to put an optic on, that's a good shout, because the horseshoe can also be a 12 gauge spread at 25 yards. And again, you should dope it at that range to see how close to your 80% of your spread in that box in that horseshoe at 25 yards you're getting. But it's dead simple to use. In CQB, it's put horseshoe on target, pull trigger. Inside of 25 yards on like an E zone or a C zone target, if you get that horseshoe on target, even better if you get the chevron on target, you're going to get a hit. Is it going to be straight through the center of the bullseye? Probably not, but that's not the point of those exercises. That's not the point of running a course. But again, if you're going to run a course with that reticle, I highly recommend that you get some sort of magnifier to put behind it. But it is a dead simple reticle to use. It's an easy reticle to zero. And because it's a red dot, it doesn't have like a fixed etched BDC. You can actually set a zero that makes sense for your application and still get the full functionality of that reticle, or almost the full functionality of that reticle. And then as you improve your gear by adding a magnifier, you can then go back and re-zero it. That's the nice thing, is that we get the chance to, fix it later. And then you've got a very competent system that's not terribly complex to use. So thanks again, guys. And if you like the content, do hit the subscribe button down below. As always, I will link Patreon in the description. And aloha, be excellent to each other.